And I pray every day that Mike will come home.
Trying to get answers. She'd make picket signs and stand in front of the church. There were billboards. Have you seen my son?
How bad it could be when someone's wife is cheating on him, and the silent lover is none other than but his best friend. Denise Williams, she was in a secret relation with her husband's best friend Brian Winchester. Mike Williams had no idea about this all. For sure, luck was not on his side. So Mike used to go on a duck hunting on his favorite spot to enjoy some time alone. So as usual, he planned his duck hunting to the lake Cinnamon in the mid of year 2000. This is a large reservoir straddling Georgia-Florida state line. So Denise got some time to stay with Brian while Mike is gone for duck hunting. As planned, Mike got up early in the morning, attached his boat to 1994 Ford Bronco, got his gears. Denise reminded him that they have their wedding anniversary planned that night, so come early. Mike kissed his wife goodbye and assured her to return on time, and Mike hits the road. The lake spot was very cold, and he was wearing waders and a jacket to protect himself from the cold weather. Denise and Brian had a little time together, but Mike never returned. At noon, Denise called her father to tell him that Mike had not returned. Brian Winchester's father drove with Winchester to the areas of the lake where they knew Mike frequently went duck hunting. They found his Ford Bronco near a remote boat launch in Jackson County on the Florida side. After investigators with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission were called, a search began, but soon had to call off after a storm blew in. Mike was gone missing. First theory came up: what could have happened with Mike? After reaching the lake, he got his boat detached from his Ford 1994 Bronco, put it in the lake, and somehow lost his balance from the boat and fell into the lake. And he was drowned and then eaten alive by the alligators. Police search was launched December 16, 2000. He was declared dead after 6 months of drowning. But search continued on the land and in the lake. Divers found Mike's waders and the jacket and his hunting license. Question arose: when everything was there, and where was Mike? If the alligators ate him, why his waders and the jacket wasn't ripped off by the alligator's jaws? They were as clean as new. So because police couldn't find Mike's body anywhere, case went cold. Meanwhile, Denise got life insurance money from Mike's death, about $1.7 million. And who could help her to get this insurance? It was Brian. It was a perfect moment for both of them, Brian and Denise. As Mike was declared dead, she already had this life insurance money, so Brian and Denise got married, finally started to live together in the same house where Mike and Denise used to live with the mother. The only person was not giving up, didn't believe in any of above or following theories, was Cheryl, Mike's mother. She started her own investigation, and search started to come on the roads, appealed to public to help her in this mystery. And on the other hand, the investigators also learned that alligators do not eat during the winter months, so there must have been a foul play. So the case was reopened in 2004 after about 4 years since it was gone cold. As before, the crime scene was not secured. Remember, there was a storm, so there was no any new evidences found. Mike's mother even wrote a letter to the governor to reopen the case one more time. This time, searchers focused on the 10 acres of lake surrounding the cove where Williams' truck was parked. His boat was soon found roughly 225 feet, which is almost 70 meters from the ramp by the helicopter pilot, who initially assumed it was a boat being used in the search After retrieving the boat, investigators found Williams' shotgun still in the case, but no signs of Williams himself. Boat fuel tank was full. Due to lack of evidences and leads, case was closed in 2007. In 2008, Florida Department of Services Division of Insurance Fraud and Commission with FDLE began investigating the case from the angle. Normally, under Florida law, the statute of limitations on the crime is 5 years, meaning it would have expired in 2005, but it can be extended 3 years under certain circumstances. The circumstances surrounding his case raised many serious and troubling questions. Interestingly, it was noted that Denise's court petition to have her husband declared legally dead mentioned only the Kansas City Life Insurance Company policies. Winchester's had sold him meeting policies through other companies and that Michael Williams had obtained through other sources. Again, in 2008, the case was closed. Starting on New Year's Day in 2012, Cheryl began writing one letter a day to the governor, Rick Scott, asking him to either have another agency beside FDLE investigate or appoint a special prosecutors to do so. After she had written over 200 letters without even an acknowledgement and that they had been received, she began inquiring personally. It turned out that the governor's office had forwarded them unopened to FDLE's headquarters, where they were placed in the case file. She was outraged. They could not have hurt me more if they had punched me right in my face. On the other hand, years went by. Now Denise and Brian were not doing well together, and Denise had issues with Brian, even living separately, so Denise filed divorce. Brian had enough, and one day, on a perfect spot and perfect timing, he stopped her, got in her car. As she was heading to her office, he got Denise on the gunpoint and started threatening her to call off the matter. She got scared and made sure she will and tried to work on the relationship again, which calmed Brian, and he told her how much he loved her. Well, as he walked out of the car, she straight headed to the police and told them everything, and also expressed that she strongly thinks Brian killed her husband. Upon Denise's statement, police arrested Brian, and while the interrogation, he confessed that he killed Mike. On the day when Mike was headed to lake, he was not alone. Brian was with him. They were at the lake hunting ducks. Brian gave him a hard blow, pushed him into the lake. As Mike was wearing a very pretty heavy waterproof clothing due to the freezing evening, the plan was to let him drown. But Mike was still in his senses, managed to lose his waders and his heavy jacket and saved himself, but of course lost a lot of energy after this attack. When Brian saw him still alive, he panicked and got his rifle and aimed at him and shot him, and Mike was gone. He got his dead body and moved to another spot, another lake, and buried it. But he also added he wasn't alone. Denise was also involved and already knew about this plan. So upon Brian's statement, police also arrested Denise.
He was in the water. I shot him.
But it was all Denise's idea.
We wanted to be together, and we weren't going to let anything stop that.
There was only one person who got the justice at the end of the road, and that was Cheryl, Mike's mother.
She wrote the governor a letter every day for 9 years.
Until God tells me in my heart that that child is dead, I cannot give up looking for him.
Finally, the verdict. He got life, she got life imprisonment. But my question, was it worse to see such kind of ending than respectfully live with her husband and give her daughter a best future she deserved.
The defendant is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. As to count 2, we, the jury, find the defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of accessory after the fact of first-degree murder.
Mike's family and friends waited 18 years for this day.
There was only one person who got the justice at the end of the road, and that was Cheryl, Mike's mother, who worked restlessly day and night working on her son's missing case and placed her own effort to find her son. And finally, she got a justice.
For Cheryl Williams, she can finally lay her son to rest.